When you first arrived on scene to this 911 call, what was your primary purpose?
When I first arrived on the scene, my primary goal and purpose was to provide life-saving aid to the child, as the information I had been given was that this had just occurred. The child had just taken the meds, and there was, due to proximity of where the call was and where I had been at the time of receiving the call, I was in very close proximity to the incident location. I believed I'd be able to provide very good immediate life-saving aid to the child.
Prior to taking the stand and testifying before the jury, you had an opportunity to listen to the 911 call in this case. Is that fair?
That is correct.
Who was that 911 call placed by?
The 911 call was placed by Josie Dikeman.
The defendant?
The defendant.
Okay. And you see the defendant in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point around and describe what she's wearing for the court record, please?
Sitting over at the...
Ms. Dikeman's to my right, wearing a blue shirt.
Okay, record reflect identification, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. You said you responded very quickly to the 911 call, is that correct?
That is correct.
You had an opportunity to listen to the 911 call before testifying?
Correct.
You had an opportunity to look at your body cam before coming in and testifying as well?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, when you responded to the scene, did you observe the defendant still having her cell phone in hand?
Don't recall.
If you don't recall, we're going to watch it all together today. Okay. Based on what you heard on that 911 call, are you responding at the very end of that call to the scene?
Correct. Right at the end of the 911 call, I hear myself and also know that I'm on the scene at that point.
Okay. Would you recognize that 911 call if it were played in open court today?
I would.
All right. The record should reflect that State's Exhibit number 15 is a flash drive that contains the 911 call placed on Saturday, February 11th, 2023 at 9:25 and 57 seconds. And ask that be played for the jury now.
No objection.
Go ahead.
Saturday, February 11, 2023, 09:25 and 57 seconds.
911, what is the address to the emergency?
W5512 County Road OS.
County OS, what's going on?
I need an ambulance here right away. We just woke up and my son is not responding. I found him on the ground into a bag I've had hidden, and there's an empty pill bottle on the ground.
Okay. Do you know what type of drug it is?
I don't. It's an old bag I had hidden, and I don't know what.
Hold on 1 second for me, okay? I'm going to page out my first responders. Okay. What is your first name?
Josie.
Okay, Josie, and a phone number for you.
608-518-6265.
Okay, just stay on the line with me. How old is your son?
6.
A 6-year-old son? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just stay on the line with me. I'm going to connect us with our medical information. I'm just going to get further questions.
Thank you.
Dispatch Center, Rick.
Rick, I've got a first responder. This one will be W5512 County Road OS for a 6-year-old who got into a bottle of pills. He is not responding. He is on the floor. Again, W5512 County Road OS. I've got Josie on the line, 518-6265. Rescue 2 has been dispatched. Go ahead.
Hi, okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I found him on the ground. He was in bed with us, and when we woke up, I was looking for him, and he was on the ground. I have an old bag of medication that was kind of hidden, and he's been getting up, and I'm talking. You need to go upstairs. Go upstairs. If you go upstairs. And he was on the ground, and he wasn't responding, and then I noticed the medication was open, and there was nothing in it.
All right, help's already on the way for you. They're coming as fast as they can for you right now. Are you with the patient now?
Yes, I am, and I noticed he's home in his house. I took CPR classes a while ago, and I tried that, and it didn't work.
And you said this is a little boy or a little girl?
Boy.
Is he awake?
No.
Is he breathing?
No. I think they're here.
Let me know who's right beside you. Otherwise, we're going to talk about CPR instructions. We're going to continue with CPRs till help gets there.
I don't know.
Is there a defibrillator available? Send somebody to get it now in case it is needed later.
We never use this, sir, but you can come in.
Okay.
Alex, into my medication. You just help us out and just send the stuff. You can come in.
Okay. Who's there with?
Well, it's an old bag I got hidden. He's been getting off and getting into.
I have an officer. Location. 911.
I move State Exhibit number 15 into evidence.
No objection.
Be received.
The record should reflect that a transcript is State's Exhibit number 16 of that 911 call. A copy's been given to the defense, and an official copy's been given to the court.
That'll be received also.
Deputy Jahr, I want to walk you through a little bit of that 911 call that we just listened to in open court. At the end of that 911 call, you hear a female voice say something to the effect of, "We never use this door, but you can come in."
Correct.
Whose voice is that?
That would be Josie Dikeman's voice.
And who is she saying that to?
She's saying that to me as I'm entering the residence.
So at the end of the 911 call, you are already arriving on scene, and she's answering the door and letting you in.
That is correct.
Okay. The defendant talked about this bag of medication twice on that 911 call. Do you recall hearing her say 2 separate times that it's a bag that she kept hidden?
That is correct.
Is that something that she says to you right away when you arrive on scene as well, that this was a bag that she kept hidden?
Shortly after meeting her at the door and entering the residence, she explained that to me, yes.
Do you recall hearing the defendant say on that 911 call that she just woke up to find Alexavier not in bed?
Correct.
This is at 9:25 a.m. when this phone call is being made, correct?
Correct.
The defendant also in the 911 call references CPR. What does the defendant say about CPR in the 911 call?
She stated that she has taken CPR classes and that she did attempt it and it was not successful.
It attempted CPR and it didn't work.
Correct.
All right, I want to talk about your response on scene immediately when that 911 call is being terminated. Tell us what you recall seeing with your eyes when you walked into the defense bedroom inside of her residence.
So I arrived on scene, entered at the front door, I'd say, and upon entry, spoke with Josie briefly, where she explained that they don't usually use that door, and that Alexavier had gotten into the bag of meds. I then began walking into the residence and asked where Alexavier was located, and she explained that he was located on our bed in the, main living area. Directly after entering the entryway, there's a bed in, a main living area. And from there, I located and identified Alexavier to be laying on the right side of the bed and went over to make contact with him and attempt to, wake him up, because at that point, due to being so close to the residence, I was unaware of the gravity of him being non-responsive and not breathing.
You were on scene fast.
Correct.
Like, this is the best response possible from law enforcement to a 911 call, is this scenario, and you arriving, as quickly as you did.
Correct.
The 911 call, the defendant makes a statement about where she found Alexavier's body. In the 911 call, where did she say Alexavier's body was?
In the 911 call, she stated Alexavier was on the ground.
Where was Alexavier when you entered that front room?
He was laying on the right side of the bed.
Before initiating CPR on Alexavier's body, did you do anything else to try and see if Alexavier would wake up or come to?
I believe I called his name a couple times, then walked over to him and I believe it was a sternum rub or something of that sort to attempt to awake some sort of response in him, and was unsuccessful.
There was no response when you called out his name.
Correct.
You tried stirring him a little?
Yes.
Do you recall how you did that?
I believe I rolled him either to his left or right side.
When you rolled Alexavier to his side, did he wake up from that?
He did not.
Did you observe something happen with Alexavier's mouth after you rolled him to the side?
I did. There was a white, clearish, frothy substance that emitted from his mouth.
White, clearish substance?
Yes.
Do you recall a black substance starting to come from his mouth as well?
Upon initiation of CPR, a black substance did begin coming from his mouth.
How quickly, when you initiated CPR, did that black substance start emanating from Alex's mouth?
Quite quickly, almost upon initiation, he began emanating that black fluid from his mouth.
At some point, was a decision made to administer Narcan?
It was.
Did you do that?
I did.
Tell us about what Narcan is and why you would administer it in this situation.
So Narcan is, don't know the technical terms of it, but it blocks the opioid receptors in the brain, I believe, and from that will reverse some sort of an overdose that an individual would be experiencing from an opioid.
Did you get any response from Alexavier or his body when you were administering Narcan?
I did not.
How is it administered?
Intranasally.
Like a shot?
Yeah, there's a plunger. You just stick it in the nostril and push it
Oh, into the nose.
into the nose.
No response from the Narcan.
Correct.
Did you keep performing CPR with Alexavier on the bed?
CPR was briefly administered on the bed. He was then picked up and placed onto the floor for better CPR, as you want to have a hard service under you.
How would you describe the temperature of Alexavier's body when you touched it?
Cold for a human, but he was still moderately warm in the chest area.
Cold for a human, but there's still some warmth emanating from the chest?
Correct.
What did you take that to mean?
So to me, that would mean, in the moment, that would mean that there was still possibly some viability. I can say confident.
Sustain.
You've been on law enforcement now for how many years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. More experience with individuals who are unresponsive?
Correct.
More experience with individuals' body temperatures who you revive?
Correct.
Okay. And you can put your experience with Alexavier's body in context with the subsequent experience you've now had on your job?
Correct.
Okay. Based on that experience, the subsequent experience you've had on the job, what did you now, reflecting back on Alexavier and his condition that morning, what did you take his condition to be?
Overruled. Go ahead.
With the knowledge I have now, I can confidently say that Alexavier would be deceased based off of his body temperatures that I noticed at that day.
You can confidently say he would be deceased.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit now about Alexavier's positioning of his body when you arrived on scene. In your experiencing with individuals who are deceased or close to deceased, do you know what rigor is?
I am familiar with rigor mortis, yes.
What is rigor mortis?
It is essentially after an individual has passed away or is deceased, the muscles then contract and for lack of a better term. The body is very stiff.
Would it be fair to say that when the body is experiencing rigor mortis, the limbs of that body almost become locked in the position that they were last in?
That would be fair to say, yes.
Reflecting back on Alexavier today, was he in rigor when you arrived on scene?
He was indeed in rigor.
Okay. Penny was been marked as state exhibit number 19. Do you recognize what that is?
Yes, this is
What is that?
the body of Alexavier.
That photograph was taken on the morning of February 11th, 2023.
That is correct.
That photograph, was it taken before or after CPR efforts were concluded?
This was after CPR efforts would have been concluded.
Can you describe to the jury the positioning of Alexavier's arms in that photograph?
So his left arm is straightened down to be the hand right around the front hip area, right about here.
His left arm?
His left arm, yes.
And what about his right arm?
His right arm is bent up at the elbow with his hand facing towards his shoulder and face area.
Like this, kind of turned in?
Correct.
Okay, so his left hand is down almost in front of his genital area.
That is correct.
His right arm is kind of locked in a twisting fashion with his fingers, how I'm displaying them now, a little bit?
Yes, very similar to that, yes.
Okay, and that's up towards his head.
Correct.
Are those how his limbs were when you arrived on scene, if you recall?
They were, with the exception of his left hand was just tucked inside the waistband, but in the same area.
His left hand, when you arrived on scene and Alexavier is positioned on the bed, is actually inside of his pants?
Yes, just barely, not fully, I think about halfway-ish.
Okay. And how does his hand get moved from the pants? Do you recall?
I'm fairly certain it was by me when I attempted to move him. The hand either came out in the process of that or I pulled it out.
All right, I move State's Exhibit number
19.
19 evidence.
No objection.
Received.
Commissioner Publis?
Any objection?
With understanding that the media is prohibited from.
Yeah. It can be published. Media is not to show this picture. There's a button right
I don't know
there.
how to use your technology. So.
Right there. Gotta let it start up.
I'll have it figured out by the end. Deputy, is this the photograph that we were just talking about?
It is.
And this is the positioning of Alexavier's arms, as you told us?
It is.
We can also see a substance all over Alexavier's face, and it's actually pooling behind his head. Tell the jury about that.
So that would be the black substance that I noticed began emanating from his mouth upon the beginning of CPR. As chest compressions were done, that fluid continued to spew out of his mouth and continue to pool behind his head until CPR was then finished.
As you are performing CPR on Alexavier's body, are you also asking questions of the defendant?
I was.
And she was answering those questions?
She was.
And we would see those answers on the body cam that you were wearing that day, or at least hear them. Is that fair?
That is fair.
While you were performing CPR on Alex, after you had moved Alex to the floor, did you find a pill bottle close to Alexavier's body?
I did.
Were you wearing gloves at the time that you were performing CPR?
I was not.
Okay. I moved 19 evidence if I didn't already.
It's already received. Go ahead.
You were not wearing gloves at the time that you were initially performing CPR on Alex?
Correct.
And you were performing CPR on Alex for a number of minutes, is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
Where did you locate this pill bottle?
It was on the floor on the same side of the bed that Alexavier was located, near a nightstand that was near the head of the bed.
Okay. While you're performing CPR on Alex, you're touching him skin to his skin, is that correct?
That is correct. I had cut off his shirt shortly after coming over to him in preparation for placing an AED on him.
And then you picked up the pill bottle with your bare hands and put it on the bed, is that correct?
I did.
Again, going back to where we started at the beginning of my questioning, at this point you're performing a life-saving function, not an investigative function.
That is correct. My sole purpose was to attempt to save Alexavier's life.
I'm going to approach and show you what's been marked as State Exhibit number 18. Ask you if you recognize what that is.
I do.
This State Exhibit number 18.
It is a bottle of prednisone. It was the bottle that I located on the floor.
That's the pill bottle that you located on the floor?
Correct.
And it was empty at the time you located it?
Correct.
And you moved it up to the bed?
Correct.
Correct. Also the pill cap at some point you moved, if you recall?
I don't recall.
Don't recall. That's fair. I moved State Exhibit number
18.
18 into evidence.
Received.
Commissioner Polish.
Go ahead.
This is the pill bottle. Who is it prescribed to?
Josie Dikeman.
And it's for prednisone?
Correct.
What's the quantity for the pills that are supposed to be in this container if it was full? You see QTY at the bottom and then a number?
12.
12. Thank you. As you sit here today, do you recall how long you performed CPR on Alexavier's body?
Not exactly, but it was a number of minutes.
It is all captured on your body cam?
It was.
You would recognize that if it were played in open court today?
I would.
Okay. For the record, State Exhibit number 17 is the body camera of Deputy Jahr. We're going to move State Exhibit number 17 into evidence, and we're going to play from the beginning of that body cam excerpt until about 13 minutes into it. And transcripts have been provided to the court and defense.
Okay. We've been turning down just these lights here. No. Actually, and yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
We never use this door, but you can come in.
Okay.
Alex got into my medication. He
Okay.
gets up in the night and gets into stuff. You can come in.
Okay. He got into your meds. What meds are you taking?
Well, it's an old bag I had hidden. He's been getting up and getting
Where is he at?
Oh my God. Go upstairs, guys.
131. Can you roll medical? Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex. 131. This is gonna be a code. Alex. Hey, buddy. Can you get him out?
Go upstairs now or no grandma. Then no grandma.
Is he in a? He's in a cast.
Yeah.
What is this? He's 131. He's foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
Give him some more candy. Can it nothing?
Deputy Jahr, it's paused for the record at 2 minutes and 21 seconds into this video. You just said he's foaming at the mouth. Did I get that correct?
That is correct.
Did you see the black substance start to leak out of the side of his mouth when you just tilted his body and put it back in that position?
I did not.
Okay, let's go back just a little bit and watch it one more time. We can go back just 5 seconds.
Please, no one can speak in the galley, please. No one can speak.
131. He's foaming at the mouth.
Give him some Narcan. Ain't gonna hurt nothing.
Stopped at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Did you see it that time?
Yep, I saw it come out of the side of his mouth.
And that's just from tipping his body to the side, correct?
That is correct.
You have not even started performing CPR, and he has a black substance coming out of his mouth.
That is correct.
Okay. We can continue playing.
Go upstairs now.
Great. 131 Narcan administered.
Hands. Start CPR on him. Buddy, you should be going somewhere else.
Get in here, Grant.
I'll take care of it. Okay. Cool. Get him off the bed. Get him on the solid floor.
This is not good. .131 CPR in progress. Joseph. Yep. He's bleeding.
Don't let him come in.
Go.
131.
Are you Josie? When did you notice him like this? When did you wake up? Okay. How long has he been unmonitored?
Only when we're sleeping. He's been getting up at night.
When did you last see him?
Where's the meds?
When he went to sleep, on the floor by him.
Prednisone.
Alright, that's fine.
0909.
You keep working. Keep working.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Give a middle initial that Bradley's non-local at all.
Yeah, he is.
When's the last time anyone saw him? Talking.
Stand by.
What time last night? AM?
Adult patient. All request Don Alaska. Touch the patient. Stand clear of patient.
No, don't go around. Everyone stay over there.
313. Shock advised. Stand clear of patient. Press the orange no shock advised. Analyzing. Do not touch the patient.
Okay, keep going.
Analyzing. Do not touch the patient. Stand clear of patient. No shock advised. Begin CPR. It is safe to touch the patient. Place overlapping hands in middle of chest. Press directly down on the chest. In time, we let you know. Remain calm.
Do some breaths. Okay. I'm gonna watch that. Yep. Okay, don't you don't get away. Okay, do some chest breaths.
Yep.
That's a good seal.
Still a little warm.
Did it take?
904, 29.
Okay, stand clear. I got a good seal.
Yep.
Go ahead. Go again.
Alan's gonna be the middle name. Last name is Reynolds.
Alex. Come on, Alex.
I'm gonna take over. Okay. Give me.
Get this out of here. They're gonna have to bring a stick.
Can you get some gauze?
Get everything later.
Okay.
You guys got
Or just some sort of thing. I need to clear some of this blood. Can't get a good airway on the bag.
We need to keep your children from over there. They are over in this other room. I just came in, so I'm good at the moment. What we need is room. I can take care of this. Now you start.
You must move this bed.
I got as far over as you can go.
Is it not going any far? Not going any farther? Okay.
Over there.
I need to. Does this door open? Or does this stay like this?
Analyzing.
Let me move this chair.
Yes.
Okay. Prednisone. How many pills were in that?
I don't know. That's the thing I needed to take to Stone. That's all.
Shocks. Nope, you do what you gotta do. Getting under.
What did we take? What did we take?
Prednisone, it looks like. Was there any other pills that he could have taken? What other pills would be available to him?
Pull these in your pocket.
What bag?
The bag was right on the ground.
Is it? I think it's what bag on your head.
Is there any other drugs they could have taken?
That's what we're trying to figure
No,
out.
not that bag. It's the brown bag.
Brown?
Yell Michaela, tell her to get suction.
What?
Michaela, but to get suction. Now.
Fluoxetine is in there.
This didn't start until we started CPR. Because all the fluids come out.
When was he last seen normal
3
man?
a.m.
What time?
3 a.m.
It's starting to a little bit.
Are you calling it?
Go upstairs.
No shots advised?
No. Means you take over?
Yep. I can do it. Ready?
You're not going to do air. You're not going to do airway anyways. Okay. I'm let you step in.
Stop.
Lauren, do you want help?
Heart rhythm. Do not touch the shock advised.
Okay.
Clear of patient.
What do you want?
Shock advised.
No shock?
Do not touch the patient.
Sorry.
Analyzing. Do not touch the patient.
Want me to get help in?
Analyzing. Do no shock advised. Begin CPR. It is safe to touch the patient. Place overlapping hands in middle of chest. Press directly down on the chest. In time with metronome. Remain calm.
Last time he was seen was he was covered up. There's nothing we can do.
I know. Where's Joseph? Is he at the squad?
here. I'll be right back. You want me to stay out?
Paused at 13 minutes and 2 seconds. I move State's Exhibit number 17 in evidence.
Yeah, it's received already.
Deputy Jar, I want to start with where we ended in that video. You come and place both hands on your squad for a second. Tell us about that.
I was, for lack of a term, overcome by emotions. It was very sad. I started crying. It took quite a toll on me. I mean, even still sitting here,
That part's hard for you to watch.
still, yeah, I had to turn away. It's still very hard for me to watch, and
There were a couple portions of that interaction that was on body cam that you said and asked questions of the defendant, and it was hard to hear what she said. So I want to go back to some of those. At least once, if not more, the question was asked of the defendant, when was the last time he was observed to be normal and fine? Is that correct?
that is correct.
And what was the defendant's answer to each one of those questions when it was posed?
3 a.m. the night prior.
3 a.m. the night prior.
Yes.
Towards the end of the body cam, when you are getting up and leaving the residence, you can hear someone crying. At any point when you were on scene, did you observe the defendant to cry?
Prior to that moment, no.
The crying that we heard on that, that's actually Becky Ehlers crying and not the defendant, isn't that right?
Correct.
How would you describe the defendant's demeanor while you're on scene?
Calm.
Did you find this peculiar?
I did.
Overruled.
Why did you find it peculiar?
Everybody can handle grief differently or react differently to it, but typically in an individual during a traumatic moment like that expresses some level of emotion.
You yourself were having an emotional reaction to it.
Correct.
At some point, we observed you on the body cam going through pills. Where were those pill bottles from?
They were located in a bag that was on the ground, also on the right side of the bed.
Was that the bag that the defendant identified as the bag she had hidden from the children?
That is correct.
Where did you find that bag when you walked in on the morning of February 11th, 2023?
I didn't notice it until nearing the end there, she had actually pointed out where it was, and it was, I believe, placed on the bed by my father.
Was it close by to where you were performing CPR?
Correct.
On the ground? Was it open, the bag?
I don't recall.
I don't recall. You started going through some of the pill bottles and announcing what the prescriptions were for, and we saw that on the body cam. Did you finish that process, or did you go back to performing CPR?
After that, I believe I opened up room.
Opened up the doors to the room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At any point, did you see any prescription bottle for Alexavier or Xanax when you were going through that bag?
I did not.
At some point later on, did you go back into the residence and see the body of Alexavier after he was pronounced deceased?
I did. I assisted investigators with in the inside of the residence.
When you're in the residence performing that life-saving function in CPR, are you really looking for injuries on Alexavier's body?
I was not.
When you go back in after Alexavier's been pronounced deceased, then did you have a better opportunity to observe all the injuries on Alexavier's body?
I did.
How would you describe those injuries to the jury?
Very traumatic. There were numerous bruises and other odd injuries on Alexavier's body.
All over his head?
Correct.
On his limbs?
Correct.
On his chest?
Correct.
On his back?
Correct.